As you know, hydraulic despotism is possible only when a substance or condition upon which life in general absolutely depends can be controlled by a relatively small and centralized force. The concept of hydraulic despotism originated when the flow of irrigation water increased local human populations to a demand level of absolute dependence. When the water when the water was shut off, people died in large numbers. This phenomenon has been repeated many times in human history, not only with water. Reverend Mother Siaksum, God Emperor of Dune. Welcome back to Dune Saga, everyone. This is season 3 of our campaign here on the Stolen Fires channel. I am Eric at Modern Recluse. I'm your game master for this multi-arc adventure series, which continues tonight with our fifth storyline, Leviathan. Content of the program features adult situations and language and may not be suitable for all ages. Listener discretion is advised. A very warm welcome and salutation to new and old viewers alike to the Stolen Fires channel here on Twitch, where there's always a Let's Play or awesome RPG live play to look forward to. Special music shout-outs go to Pixabay and Fraction, also known as Kevin MacLeod for Midnight Tale, Repulsive Sound, Coag Music, Tabletop Audio, and Blear Moon for the use of excellent music. Thanks goes to Maleficent Entertainment for awesome games for us to play, and we want to thank Roll20 for the use of their virtual tabletop platform, which is perfect for hosting games just like Dune Adventures in the Imperium. And as always, we want to give a big thanks to our viewers and fans for tuning in. Our host entourage is ready to engage in deadly things. Agents of the Imperium remind our audience who you are, where they can find you online, and who you are playing this evening. Beginning with Aaron.
Hello everyone, I am Aaron. My pronouns are anything except he, him. You can find me pretty much everywhere as Great Cthulhu in some fashion. Tonight I'll be playing Eloise Cheshire, who is decidedly not a powder keg of emotions.
Not at all. Devin.
Hello one and all, my name is Devin. You can find me online at Sorta Sullied. And tonight I am playing not Norma, Kanki Sen, the ex-Bene Gesserit witch.
Ambrose?
Hey everybody, it's me. You can find me all over the internet as Am Changeling and on Etsy at Thornkind, where I was just assembling an order.
Nice.
And tonight my pronouns are they, them, and tonight I will be playing Zoshir Tamara, whose pronouns are he or they.
Excellent. Leo.
Hello, my name is Leo. You can find me at Leo of the Black here on Twitch. And today I'll be playing Archibald. And he's in deep shit right now. We'll see how the night goes.
A little bit. Last but not least, of course, Rachel.
Hello, my name is Rachel. I am Stolen Fires pretty much everywhere, including the Burning Bird app. And the apps that everyone thought would replace the Burning Bird app, but I guess we've all just decided to collect around the bonfire anyway. And I will be playing Lady Daphne Cheshire.
I still use Hive.
I think Hive broke.
Oh. Let's see. Now for a very short recap, if you don't mind doing the honors this time, Aaron.
Love to. The shots ring out from a nest somewhere in Arrakeen. Daphne's Bene Gesserit reflexes kick in, as does Varys' Pranu Bindu, training to duck. But Varys realizes the bullet's trajectory and turns to shield Daphne, taking the shot for her. Alarms sound and more bullets pepper the hall, slicing through the walls like butter. Daphne grabs a wounded Varys, taking him to Dr. Sloane. The whole palace is under attack. Elsewhere, Eloise's prescience tells her where to stand to avoid being hit. Conquee's Prana Bindu similarly keeps her safe as she moves to where Pardo takes shelter. Neither have any idea who might be attacking, but the palace shields need to go up. Conquee starts moving in that direction, while the Queen's Hearts provide the covering fire. Other Cheshires move towards the generator room, while Archibald shields Kynes. Some of the Queen's Hearts go down, under fire from ancient weapons. Nelia and Hurdy move outside the palace, wanting to identify the shooters. Well, Nelia does. Hurdy trips and falls while trying to put on her Tiberius suit and move at the same time. Another Tiberii grabs Daphne and says she needs to activate the shields. Varys, bleeding from his shoulder, refuses to be separated, so Daphne asks Dr. Sloane to come meet them. In the shield room, Daphne struggles to understand the machinery, but thanks to her new ancestral memories, she moves almost without thinking to power the dynamos and generators. As the shield covers the palace, Daphne hears distant cheers, but then the Tiberius next to her whispers, "Hello, sister." Daphne quickly dodges away from the flashing blade. The door is locked. Varys pounding on it. Alicia, hood down, speaks of tracking down Gregos and Milos, the Afcardus twins, bragging even. Daphne asks Lisa thought killing the last Afcardus would earn her place back in the house. No, that was never her motivation. She calls out to Gregos, and Varys suddenly stops his pounding. Elsewhere, Eloise insists she and Amira have to find Daphne. Amir is reluctant, but they soon end up in the room with Sloane, Varys, and Conky. While all this happens, Archibald escorts Kynes to safety. The shooters hold their fire now the shields are up. Hurdy and Pardo catch sight of some kind of commotion, or perhaps distraction at the spaceport. Pardo dispatches his own officers, while Archibald brings Kynes there as well. He apologizes for the situation, saying he doesn't know who'd attack them. Working together, Conky and Eloise pick the mechanical lock. Within, Alicia teases Daphne with her knife. She speaks of Janice, the Cheshire matriarch who ordered a child's death by preventing a medicine delivery, who later threw herself off the balcony in shame. Of course Daphne knows about Janice. She was Janice, yesterday. She knows all the Cheshire women, their pain and grief passing down through the years. The water of life revealed this to her. 20 generations of Cheshire daughters punished for the sins of their mothers, and thus sinning in turn. Alicia has heard enough. She goes for the final stab, cutting deeply in Daphne's carotid. Only Daphne's Pranabinu keeps her awake and aware, but she's weak enough for Alicia to grab her as a hostage. Varys pleads to take her place, while Sloane only wants to treat Daphne's wounds. Alicia allows Sloane to come closer, but only him. It's a ruse, however. As soon as Sloane is in range, Alicia slices into him. He falls to the ground, dead. He was a former House Carroll, after all. Daphne tries calling for people to stop, but her voice does not carry. Norma's does, however, as "do no harm" echoes through the room. Alicia drops her weapons, and Daphne, but she can do a different kind of harm. Alicia reveals the truth. Varys is Gregos Afcardus. He admits it and speaks of his negotiation with the navigators, while his brother stole the spice bread. Of how he took the identity of a sick man, murdered the witnesses, and underwent expensive cosmetic surgery. How his original plan was to seduce Daphne and then break her heart before destroying her family. But then they traveled to the Sihaya Tabir together, the place that changes people. The night they spent together certainly changed him. Especially when he secretly read Adelaide's last letter to her daughter. He recites passages from memory in praise of Daphne. Her love saved his life, changed him. Gregos Afcardus, he insists, died alone in a cave while Varys Chol was reborn. But it's not enough. Not for Eloise. She fires her Mala pistol directly at Varys. His shields stop the bullet, and Daphne begs Eloise for just a few minutes. "Convince me," challenges Eloise. Daphne tells Eloise the same thing she told Alicia, of her newly unlocked genetic memories. She wants the cycle of generational trauma to stop. If Daphne rescinds her orders on Amira, if she lets go of her grief and anger enough to let the other woman live, could Eloise do the same for Varys? For the sake of family, Eloise agrees. Only if Varys stands trial. Daphne says that's fair. Alicia looks on all this with disgust. Some understand her motivation. She came here to kill Gregos and to die herself. Varys refuses to do it, and thus she has little choice but to surrender to the Queen's hearts. On Daphne's command, she'll be returned to the Cicerod and face justice there. As she's dragged away, Alicia yells to remember Janice, and Eloise takes the opportunity to pistol whip Varys. That's for her father and sister, she sells angrily. Conqui follows the Queen's hearts out, watching carefully as they restrain Alicia on the ornithopter. Alicia notices the other woman peering and challenges her, Conqui or Norma, insists her sister really has changed and would not want Alicia to die like this. They argue about family before Alicia, who's on a Cheshire ornithopter after all, pulls the secret release and falls to her death. Norma delivers the news to Daphne via communet. The Duchess, abed in the medical wing, is both sorrowful and relieved. It's finally over. Collect her body, she says. Inform the Sisselrod. Return Alicia Jabberwock, but do not lay her to rest in the Cheshire family cemetery. Dignity, but not honor. Also at the spaceport is Archibald, having just seen Kynes off. He sees the pilots bringing in Alicia's body. Both he and Conquy notice a few things left behind and race to them. Conquy ends up with a Redulian crystal sheet and a note, reading in smudged handwriting. Mission accomplished, Uncle. She slips that into her pocket, saying it's for Daphne. Archibald ends up with Adelaide's spirit fire necklace, deciding he needs spice to settle his debts. He asks Nelia to bring him to Sihaya Tabir. At Sihaya Tabir, Zoshir must make a decision about the Adwali and calls a council. They may, after all, be of use during the razzia. Myrma says they might indeed be key, but they may also be threatening Zoshir's rule. Myrma has seen visions of the Adwali burning Zoshir's banners and cursing House Cheshire. But it's only one possible future. Yet all possibilities are equally terrifying, resulting in the end of humanity, and the watcher over it all. These visions distress Myrma, and Zoshir has water brought to her. Mirlat comments she cannot be Sayadina much longer. Fremen do not accept weakness in the leaders. But Zoshir has a place for her in mind, and another Sayadina, if she is willing. Well, that will take some convincing of the Naibs, if it's Daphne he's thinking of. But Zoshir is Mahdi after all. In the end, Zoshir orders the water taken from the Adwali. He then meets with the Naibs, including Stilgar and Duncan Idaho. They challenge his leadership. Stilgar supports him, mentioning Zoshir's connections to the Outfrane house that rescued him, and how Zoshir recovered the stolen spice product. Nawin also supports him. Despite such support, he struggles to persuade the other Naibs. That's when he resorts to drawing his crysknife and telling the story of how Shai Halud gifted it to him. His visions after the Tau. Kyra's visions. He slices his hand, claiming his title, and calls of Lisan al-Gaib echo through the siege. Back at the palace, Varys comforts Daphne as she comes out of twilight. They speak tenderly to each other. She wants to stay with him and promises to speak for him at the Sisselrod. Meanwhile, Conky finds Pardo and says she overheard his borderline treacherous conversation with Archibald, Amir, and Eloise. She insists again Daphne has truly changed and shows him Alicia's note. Her next stop is Eloise's room, where she and Amir are surrounded by half-open bottles. Eloise's thirst for vengeance is not sated, especially when Norma shows them both the note. Eloise's white-hot hate for Archibald reignites. After Conquy leaves, Amir and Eloise discuss what to do next. Amir suggests going after Archibald's wife. After all, they have good reason to join House Librius now. But what happens then? Eloise expects they'll become stewards of Jabberwock, and swears they'll kill everyone who hurt them.
Thank you for reading that, Aaron, and thank you as always, Rachel, for taking excellent notes. Now we can continue with Leviathan. All right. So, I think we should begin where we left off at the palace. I figure it's probably going to take a few days at the very least for Daphne to recover, as well as everybody else who was involved in the assault. Obviously, security has been doubled and tripled at the different entrances, thanks to Marshal Reed's, forces being bolstered around the palace for any possible further intrusion. But there's still an air of tension in the air that runs through all of the staff. And indeed, many of you who reside in the palace have noticed a quelling of sound throughout the week that you spend in recovery of what's going ever since the assault took place. By the time that we resume back with House Cheshire and Arakeen Palace, news of Alicia's demise has already made the rounds. It's only a question of whether or not that news was delivered to Daphne when it happened, or if her full recuperation is being awaited before those news are given to her. I suppose we can begin. Let's begin with Archibald. You have some business to take care of at the palace. After everything that happened, you were tapped by Marshal Reed in marshaling all the different forces around the city and making sure that something like this would never happen again. Evidently, the people who planned this attack, along with Alicia, had means of getting around Arakeen and places and getting access to weapons that were not very common in the Imperium currently. If you recall, they were using some sort of particle rifle of sorts that hasn't been used in a very long time. This sort of technology hasn't been seen in quite a while, and with it, they were able to literally punch through the walls of the palace and injure and kill several people. None of the house retainers were injured or killed directly as a result of the oncoming fire. They were literally just firing blindly into the palace as a ruse, as a cover for the real attack, which was the Slow Blade, or Alicia in this case. She intended to, she was there to eliminate Varys, it seems, but she just couldn't help herself and decided to try to eliminate her sister as well, which leaves a lot of open questions and additional tension in the air whenever anyone catches a glimpse of the Duchess's beau walking the hallways on his own. I'll begin with you then. After you've been given these weapons to examine and given the responsibility to help with your Varangian guard to bolster the numbers around the palace, what is it that you wanted to do throughout this week of recovery?
I actually wanted to. My eyes are right now set on Tupile, so I would. Actually, no, I would go and see Daphne.
You want to see Daphne? There's no letter that you want to deliver or anything like that?
Yeah, I'll deliver that letter beforehand, and then I'll go see Daphne.
Okay, hold on. Secret messages are happening. And then we can begin with, Daphne, you're still recuperating in Dr. Sloane's office, and in walks Archibald.
Duchess, you seem to be recovering.
I'm getting better. To what do I owe the honor?
Well, judging by your reaction, Kanki hasn't told you.
Told me what?
I saw an opportunity, and I took it. I'll say it right now. I was the one that let Alicia out. I was the one responsible for the clone.
All right. Why?
That's one of the reasons why I wanted to come to you first. I saw an opportunity, like I said.
Opportunity to do what?
To get rid of some of the threats on Arrakis to you. You may not believe me, but it's true.
She almost killed me. She killed the doctor that I swore to protect.
Yes, I do agree with that.
Why?
I did have an inkling that this might happen, but I also know your will to live, and you're not exactly easy to kill, in my opinion.
So, you let a wild animal out of its cage.
To a certain extent, yes, but it was more targeted. It
Targeted
wasn't
to
supposed
whom?
to be you. You have Cardis twin. My thinking is Alicia is the best assassin in the known universe right now, or whatever. I figured we could use that. I didn't tell you because the Landsrod would look very suspiciously at you if you just let your convict sister out of prison like that.
I was never going to let her out of prison.
Exactly my point.
You were going to let an innocent woman die.
Innocent woman? No.
The clone. You were going to let her be executed.
No. I
She
also
was
knew you would
5
figure
minutes
it.
away.
Yes, but I also know that you knew your sister, and I knew that wasn't going to happen.
You didn't even give me a hint. You let me walk into that room thinking I was going to watch my sister die. She killed your niece. How is that at all acceptable to you?
It's not.
But how did you afford this?
I guess you can say I'm on borrowed time right now.
In debt. You're in debt. To who?
I think you can answer that question.
No, I want to hear you say it. Who do you owe and how much?
One clone's worth to the Council.
Oh. That's why they haven't been attacking us. I've been expecting it.
Yeah, and
When
to be
is
honest with you, I was also thinking about that as well.
When is the bill due?
I told them that I'd get them the spice. That's what the Razi is for.
Is your share going to cover it?
Yep.
I'm going
As
to
long as
ask
everything
you.
is equal.
I'm going to ask you this again. Is your share, your honestly obtained share, going to cover your debt?
So, this is a story master question. Will it?
It largely depends on how much is there. No one knows how much spice is actually still at that facility. There's only one way to find out, though. With every week that passes, more and more spice leaves Arrakis and goes to the Harkonnens' secret holdings on Gidi Prime.
But I am willing to make this right for you.
No, I'm just trying to follow the logic. You free Alicia, pay her to be cloned, going deeply into debt with enemies of our house, when you're not entirely sure you're going to be able to pay it back. I'm not gonna hold the off-Cardis thing against you, because as of 3 days ago, we were all thinking something very different about them. What would have happened then? Alicia succeeds, then what? She doesn't die.
Die. And you're right. But on the other hand, too, I also think
No. I need you to... What would you have done to Alicia if she accomplished her mission and survived?
I'd instantly would have killed her.
You would have killed your grandniece with your own hands.
No, you're right. I wouldn't have. But I wouldn't have let her get away, if that's what you're asking. I do have a thing about not killing family, and you know that.
Right.
Promise you on that one. If you want to commit a little bit of heresy as well, hook me up to the Inxian Damper.
I think the house has committed enough sins for one lifetime.
Well, I figured I would confess my sins before everybody else did. You know how things get skewed around here.
So someone knows. Conky knows. Conky already knows.
Yes.
Would you be here if she didn't?
Yes. I do feel like I would be. Granted, this new frame of thinking is a couple days ahead. So maybe a week ago, no. But now, yes.
Alright.
Very good. Do you anything else after the?
Yeah,
So, what are
sorry,
you
go
going
ahead.
to do now? What are you going to do next? The Razia, I assume?
Yeah, I need spice, as you could tell. The thing is during this whole debacle, I have thought a lot about this, in my honest opinion, and there's going to be changes to my house specifically.
What
I do.
changes?
I'm willing to give up my position with House Liberius.
And do what? Become a wandering mercenary?
No. I told you my ambitions were in Tupao.
So you're the rogue general,
I guess you could say that.
trying to raise an army from scratch.
You know how I like to do things hard.
So, the plan is for you to give up your position in Librius to whom?
Eloise Cheshire.
Alright. So Eloise becomes Lady Librius. I assume you're leaving her all your martial assets.
Most of them. The only one that I would like to take with me is my Varangian Guard.
Alright.
Considering I am putting down my position of power, I do feel like I'm owed that a little.
And so what happens when you get to Tupile?
I have, as you know, I do have plans to be able to make that. I do plan on uniting them.
To what end? Becoming the Emperor of Tupile?
I guess you could say that, yes. I don't necessarily want to kill the Landsrat because that's not good for humanity in general. I think competition breeds the excellence.
Mass
And
murder is generally bad for humanity.
yeah, well, you're not wrong. And I'm going to try to do, and I'm going to try peace first. I'm not just going to go all out war, obviously. But I do plan on at least giving them a fighting chance. You may not understand, but to me it does.
All right, I think we're going to need to hold a family meeting about this. Does Eloise know? Have you discussed this with her?
Not yet, but I left her a letter. At least she'll read it later.
All right. Is there anything else that you think I need to know that you haven't told me?
That's it, my lady.
All right.
Jared out here. I'm just wrecking my brain at the moment. Oh, yeah. Sorry, in character. I also have a proposition for Varys as well. I know he's to be tried, and whatever happens to power execution, but I don't think you would really want to see him executed. I think this could be opportunity to send him with me to Two Pile, either the Landsrock, and when I get there, I pick him up. And I guess he would, instead of destroying Jabberwock, he'd be releasing or building up people again. Two Pile's not a nice place either, Duchess. So it's a punishment by itself as well.
I don't think the Sicil Rod will have him executed.
Just saying.
What crimes has he committed?
His family committed genocide. He destroyed half the planet of Jabberwock.
He was not involved in any of that.
You're mixing up House Carol with House of Cardis, Leo. House Carol dropped the atomics on the planet. House of Cardis pitted House Shire and House Carol against each other from the beginning. It looked like the other guy.
So we're just going to ignore that? Okay then. Never mind.
His father is responsible for the Ornithopter crash. He was a child when it happened.
He's also the man that slaughtered a family of houses. House of, you know what I'm saying.
Surprisingly few witnesses.
Wow. Okay then. Apple doesn't fall from the tree. And I leave. My lady. And I leave.
While we're speaking of Varys, there's a knock on Elois's door. Amira, this is in the middle of the night. So, like, Amira's out of bed and grabs her blade reflexively. Gets up against the door. Checks to see who it is. What is this fop doing here?
Bob? What do you mean?
It's that of Cardis fool, Varys.
How stupid is this man? See him in.
Should I? Seriously? She looks bad.
We can always kill him later.
Queen of bad ideas. Mutters under her breath and just like release on the door. She gathers her things around her. What do you want? I wish to speak to Elois, please. In private. Not happening. You'll speak in front of me if you go to speak with Elois. There's dealing here. Very well, if she'll allow it. May I?
You can speak freely in front of Amira. I trust her more than my own home.
Understood. He's there, just hands folded in front of him, looking very dressed down. He's like, I have to apologize for a lot. I feel that in order for such an apology to be legitimate, I I first need to clear the air on which sins I'm personally responsible for and which ones fall on my house. While it is true that my brother and I planned to House Cheshire itself and their allies, I did so on the assumption that this vengeance was rooted in some kind of truth. After the Carols assaulted Jabberwock, my brother and I watched from off-world how House Cheshire was seen untouched by the chaos. Every major city planet was assaulted except for Calais. Why the sworn enemies of the Cheshires shied away from completely obliterating them and decided instead to destroy everyone else made us think that a greater deception was at hand. We, of course, knew nothing about the machinations that brought the two houses to feud with one another to begin. We did not know that our own house was responsible for those crimes long before our birth. We were told that the Cheshires had kidnapped our older sister after Frederic Cheshire seduced our mother, as it was told to us. How long we were to believe these things. It is clear to me now that my brother and I were conceived and conditioned to infiltrate your house and through marriage unite our houses against the Carols. My mother was of things to me and Milos, but she was always Bene Gesserit first. They wanted something from both of our houses, and it seems they got more than they bargained with you and Daphne. I'm sorry for the pain my family caused you and your family. I'm not asking for your love, and I know it's sensible to consider my apology. But if you won't accept me as I am, will you at least accept me as a fellow sibling, for the same blood that runs through my veins through yours?
If you don't leave my room in the next 5 seconds, I'm going to let Amira kill you.
You see, Amira just never tears her gaze from him, and and she's just like, I'm gonna wait for her to tell me. And Varys is like, I understand. He kind of turns around and he leaves promptly. He does stop at the door and look back over his shoulder at you, though, like disappointed, disheartened that you wouldn't at least forgive him or at least accept him as your half brother. But he leaves, and the door shutters behind him.
Whatever is the nearest thing she can smash, she smashes, and then the next nearest thing, and the next nearest thing, and the next nearest.
There goes
thing.
the vase and the tarot cards and the table, and Amira finally restrains you for a minute, and she's like, all right, he's gone. We don't have to kill him now. Maybe we'll kill him later. Doing so now would be reckless, and it would incur the wrath of your precious Duchess.
I need to know if what he says is true.
Why would you even begin to believe him? He just told you that his entire existence was to infiltrate this house. What do you think he's doing now? I wouldn't trust him as far as I can throw him, which is considerable.
There is a gap in my history where this could be true. You understand that. You know me. I don't know who my mother is.
You know who your mother is. It's Janice Cheshire. She raised you.
No. Not by blood. Yes, but I was raised in that home and raised as one of their own, but she's not my mother.
Isn't that all that matters?
Look at the world we live in. You know that blood matters the most in the world we live in.
Only to Blood who wishes to utilize you. And no doubt he wants to utilize everyone in this house.
His house is dead. There is no house of Cardis.
Not if he marries into this house. Not if he has an heir with the Duchess.
If I share his blood, if I marry anyone, I spread on a house of Cardis genetics too, don't I?
It's a losing strategy to trust that one.
I don't
Mark my
trust
words.
him.
Good. Then don't give him the benefit of the doubt. But our vengeance has to be slow.
I need answers, and I'm going to get them.
Who do you plan on getting answers from? Please tell me it's not this one. And she picks up the letter from Archibald. Still beating that drum, I see.
You have something you'd like to say to me, candidly?
Nothing I haven't already said. I won't repeat myself again.
Fine.
What would you have me do now?
If
Watch
only
my
you
uncle.
knew someone with genetic memories.
Watch my uncle and make sure he doesn't try to flee the planet.
I can watch him. He won't be a problem. His Varangian guard is good, but I feel I am better.
I have the utmost confidence in you.
She touches your face. I'm going back to bed. You should join me.
I will.
Let's see. The next morning, Conqui. After everything that has transpired in the palace, everything that has occurred with Alicia and the captured mercenaries that she seems to have acquired as part of her attack, what were you doing for this period of time throughout the week?
Oh, first I was planning on checking out and seeing if Alicia left any hidden surprises, because who knows how long she had, and the plan obviously was not to get out of here. So maybe she left something else just in case. Little
Where are you checking?
distrustful. Daphne's quarters, mess hall, the med bay itself, just in case she tried throwing something in there that would go off at somebody's
Good plan.
attempt at being fixed up. And the shield generator room itself, just in case there's an extra surprise next time we try and turn it on. Let's save the med bay for last, though, because that way Daphne has time to heal up. I can check the room, and then I can, talk about Archie and what happened, because that way she's had a little time to heal up and feel better before I spring the bad news that she already knows.
Yeah, you check throughout the palace, with an obsession for detail, and nothing escapes your gaze. One thing you've noticed, though, is that there have been a lot less servants wandering the halls at different hours, which is a little unusual. You've noticed since the assault, and a lot less security personnel on at their posts, which is what you would the opposite of what you would expect, especially considering that Marshal Reed, has issued, double the amount of personnel. But you don't notice any other sabotage that she conducted throughout the palace. You know that she only had access to the shield generator for a short amount of time, and during that time, she was with Daphne and in that confrontation.
Then, after noticing the security is seemingly more lax, I'd like to talk to Pardo.
He seems distracted when you point him, like he's He seems like he's looking down a hallway, like he just heard something. There's nobody there, and you come up behind him, and you're like, "Pardo," and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you." Yes. What can I do for you, Miss Conquy?
I was just checking about to see if there was anything left over. And it seems that the guard is lacking.
Indeed, I've noticed this lapse myself. I've not entirely sure what's been going on, but it's been getting worse as the week goes on. I have dispatched several of my aides to discover what the source of this issue is, and I came back with this. And these are messages from the Guild Bank.
Hmm.
It seems that someone is hitting us in our purse strings. No doubt because of what happened, or perhaps because of other reasons. Now the household staff is no longer being paid, and my security personnel are busy keeping a mob from storming the front gates of this palace. I don't know who's behind this, but it conceivably could be anyone. The Bene Gesserit, the Guild,
The
Emperor,
Harkonnens.
the Harkonnens. I was planning on bringing this up at the house meeting whenever Duchess is fit to attend.
Perhaps until this can be arranged, you should talk to our Fremen allies, see if we might get a few of their numbers to bolster ours.
I believe we already have, do we not? We have the Tiberii, after all. And they assisted during the assault. They do not require a monthly stipend.
I look around the halls and see how few people there are.
There's this one dwarf Tiberii that's like peeking around the corner. And as soon as you look, they kind of duck back behind out of sight. Oh yes, that one.
As I said, a few more.
Well, I'm not exactly the ambassador for. I was just trying to speak with the Fremen. This will have to be carried out by someone else, I suspect.
I glance back at the one that just ducked their head around and said,
You just see like the eye level like of the mask around the corner.
I'm sure you'll be able to find the appropriate person to talk to them for us.
Yes, of course. And I assume that you'll keep me informed.
Of course.
Good
Now
day.
I'm off to give Daphne the news.
Oh, I see. Funny enough, you bump into Elois, who's also sort of there to knock on the door. You're popular these days, Daphne. Everyone's at the med bay. Check you out just as you're getting ready to be released within the next 24, 48 hours. In comes Conqui, followed by Elois.
How can I help you both?
Oh, Duchess, I figured you would need a little time to heal before you got to hear the news. And I pulled the slip paper, the crystal out, and hand it over to you.
Take it, read it. He was just here, confessing.
I see I took too long. I take it you've forgiven him then.
I haven't decided. Have you had a chance? So, I don't know if you picked it up, Aaron, but you're in the room with Daphne.
Oh,
Yeah, it's her, Conky, and you. Uh, have you spoken to Archibald, Eloise?
Not yet.
He
There
has
are
a
pressing things.
he has a very interesting offer for you.
Out of game real quick. Did I already get the note, Eric?
From Archibald?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm aware. He wrote me a very interesting letter, and then your, I suppose, potential betrothed, whatever that man is, paid me a visit as well, which is the real reason I'm here.
That was a risk of him to take.
He barely escaped with his life, so yes.
I appreciate your mercy.
I need you to go into your memory. I heard you say it during the altercation. I need you to go into your grandmother's, my surrogate mother's memory. I need to know something.
All right. What do you need to know?
I need to know who my mother is.
Okay, I'll see if I can find out. So Daphne will go into a trance. And so I imagine after some period of time, she will regain consciousness and she'll just kind of terrified. Um, what did Varys tell you?
That he's my half brother. That my father seduced his mother.
It was the other way around.
She seduced him.
She was the hope was an alliance. That the seduction would uh, provoke our house to unite against Carol. Something went wrong. He felt dishonored. He spurned her and stole you away from them. He and Archibald infiltrated and stole you. Her name was Lady Yesenia of House of Cardis.
Did your mother know?
I didn't see this through her eyes.
I'm asking if she knew, not if she saw it, if you saw that through her eyes.
I saw it through Federico's eyes.
What did you just say?
I saw all of it through Federico's eyes.
Everyone else out.
I think it's just us three.
Really, yeah.
Okay.
The med tech is like, oh shit. At least.
I look towards Eloise. This is not to be spoken of.
I'm no stranger to secrets, Norma. Apparently, I've apparently there's been so many that I'm unaware of.
Are you telling me what I think?
I don't know what to think. But I saw Federico and Archibald, and there were no women there.
Look again. look elsewhere. Do you? Can you?
Daphne will certainly try.
You see, events that have transpired through your ancestors, all the way through the Iasi, Hasi, and beyond, and then you can you as you're doing so, you see like there's this forebodingness that lies behind you as you look to the past. You turn your glance backwards, looking forward in time, and what you see are these in your mind's eye. You see these different paths that lead into different places, far, far into the future of humanity. You see yourself there. You catch glimpses of banners, of House Cheshire's banner. The banners are on fire. The banners have blood on them. There's a chanting of Mahdi, Mahdi, coming from the streets of Arakeen. You see the two moons of Arrakis hanging overhead at night. You see thinking machines. You see too many things at once, and you have to look away and look towards the past that is set in stone, that is structured, that you can move your way through. Future, you can see it, but it's so malleable. It changes so often that it's almost impossible to predict. You can see those possibilities, but as you become aware of this whole other sight, this oracular sight that you have, it's bewildering. It's impossible to put into words. It's impossible to see it in a structured order of any kind, or what would cause what outcomes. But that is what you can see, and you can see it through the male and the female side of the Cheshires. And this, for some reason, seems to be unnerving Conquest Sen to no end.
Just unnerving to death to do because she knows what this means.
Yeah, Daphne will come out of her trance. Yes. I am.
As proud as I am of you, this is unanticipated.
Wonderful.
Didn't anticipate it either.
I hope these visions do you all well. I've just learned my entire life has been based on a lie. I'm going to accept Archibald's offer.
Then you'll need this. You can control her. Deal with her, whatever.
He puts this vial in your hand, and you don't have to ask what it is. You kind of have a feeling that you already know.
She was in the Guild for 12 years. She knows poison when she sees it.
Right.
Poison and cure both, you know.
Wonderful.
Recommend not giving it to her. Just saying.
Don't worry, Archibald.
Well, Archie would say no because he still thinks she's pregnant, but Jared says give it to her.
Pardon our dust. We are transitioning because we're getting a key.
All right. Welcome.
Hi, Key.
Hello, Mr. Reed. Nah, you're Pardo still.
Welcome, Key. Yeah, Eloise will be. I'm going to go speak to my brother, apparently, and then I think I'm leaving Arrakis.
Are we Is she well?
You've done no wrong to me, niece. Please don't interpret that way, but I'm done with House Cheshire.
If you're House Librius, you're still part of the larger.
I understand the symbolism there.
I assume I can tear up the indictment I was going to send to Sister Rod.
I've lost enough family, yes.
Alright, thank you.
A little out of character question. Given that my motivation was literally vengeance and I kind of can't have it anymore, but kind of got it, but kind of didn't. Should I resolve that?
You can. Yeah.
Excellent.
You can change your is it agenda that it's on the
agenda.
character?
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I word I wanted. Great.
Excellent. Don't write it in ink though, because you know things happen.
Of course, never.
As Elois leaves the med bay, does Daphne and Conquest say or do anything else before the next house meeting, presumably?
What are we going to do?
What do you see?
Bloody burning banners of House Cheshire. Thinking machines on Arrakis. Chants of Mahdi, Mahdi.
Thinking machines? Yours?
I don't think so. Things would have to get very dire for me to resort to that.
The future's bleak indeed. We have much to do.
This is going to earn us some unwanted attention from Mahaya, if she knows. If she figures it out, if she sees it in a vision.
Much more than just Mahayam. The Guild, the Emperor.
Guild already wants to kill our entire house.
You would be the greatest threat they have ever faced. Right now, we are a hindrance. That is so much more.
What should we do?
At the moment, our funds are running dry. We need more to help defend ourselves. You need to speak with Zoshir.
Alright, I'll make those arrangements.
Perhaps we should move ourselves out for a time. Leave someone here to run business until we complete all of ours. Razia, the Harkonnens leaving. Things are tenuous here at best.
Start making arrangements.
Did you want to meet with Zoshir before or after your house meeting?
Uh, it seems efficient to do it after.
Sure. Okay. You're eventually released from the med bay after you've recovered from your wounds. You have a nasty little scar around your neck now, where Alicia last paid her antagonized you. Weird things happen when you're in a fight. Um, in the immediacy of the moment, you just remember a few things, but it's only afterwards when the adrenaline drops that your memory starts to pick up on everything that happened moment by moment. You replay that entire thing in your mind. And there are things that you experienced that you didn't recall until after it happened. Like the time, like the short amount of time that she had you to herself in the shield generator room. She was not just like toying with you. It was like she was goading you. It was like she was trying to get a rise out of you. She would push you and, look to the floor where there was a knife and she's like, come on, do something. She's trying to provoke you. And after you were told everything that had happened, it seems clear what Alicia's actual motivation was when it comes to arriving on Arrakis and seeking you out in particular. She didn't come here just to do a thing that her uncle bade her to do in return for releasing her from prison. She came here in her own sick and twisted way to say goodbye and to just leave altogether. Like she didn't have anywhere to go. She was trapped, and this was her only way out. How does Daphne react to that when she comes to that sort of terrible realization?
She probably takes a couple moments to shed a few tears where no one can see her. Just sort of grieving who Alicia could have been if she hadn't just been used so terribly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's tempted to go back into the visions and see if there was, like, if someone had done anything different, could it have turned out differently? But for now, she resists that temptation.
It usually works in reverse. Like you can look into the future and see what you can kind of get a glimpse. And now you understand what Mossam was experiencing. This paralysis of decision because there's just so many different possibilities. And in some cases, no matter which way you go, it's always a bad outcome. And now you're starting to see why he ran away because he had no way of dealing with it. But now it seems that he has a kindred spirit of sorts, with you at least. You now know what he and Kyra possessed as an ability to be able to see that far ahead, and to predict and to attempt to predict what is going to happen in the future. It starts to kind of put a different spin on the vision that you've had since you've arrived on Arrakis. The worm and the wolf that bites at your heels and so on. All right, let's move along to the house meeting then, or at least in the moments leading up to it.
Yeah, so.
Pardo Reed. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, just Daphne wants to have a brief conversation with Varys.
Oh, yes, of course. You wait until you're in your own quarters, or is there a specific place that you want? Okay. He's like, what's on your mind?
Eloise told me what you told her.
He doesn't say anything.
Did you know who she was?
I did. But even when I was doing what I thought was in the name of justice for my family, I couldn't bring myself to target her in any way. I don't. You can't go against your own family.
I suppose we're all family now. I noticed in the attack, the way you moved. Did someone teach you growing up in DUNE?
Yeah, my mother. Our mother taught us.
Reasonable. Did she tell you anything else about the Bene Gesserit?
She was tight-lipped about the order, just that they had plans and schemes, that they were looking for an answer that for over several millennia. They arrived at that point, but they were close. That's all she would tell me. And she thought that my brother and I would be key to that somehow. It had to do with your house. Sisterhood was very interested in you and Kyra in particular.
Yes. The ritual that I undertook. It allows women to unlock their matriarchal memories.
It's possible.
Yes. And every time that they've tried to do the same ritual to a man, he dies.
Is this the Kwisatz Haderach?
Yes.
I see. I had learned of Reverend Mothers that had the ability to instantly recall things that happened in the past with supernatural accuracy, but I've never heard of a man that would be able to do that.
They were trying the wrong direction.
Why are you asking me this?
Because Eloise asked me to look into my memories, to see. She wanted confirmation of everything you were telling her. So I looked, and I found my grandfather's memories.
What did you learn?
Your mother, Federico, and Archibald stealing Eloise as a baby. I suppose that's why your house hated ours so much, and the tactics you used.
Yes, I suspect so.
If the other Bene Gesserit find out that I can do this, if they find out that I'm pregnant, I don't know what they're going to do.
You're afraid that they're going to harm you?
Possibly. This is something that they've been genetic programming, meticulous record keeping, genetic profiles on anyone of note within the Imperium for centuries, trying to find someone who can access both halves.
He takes your hand and he's like, I won't let anyone hurt you. You know that, right? As long as I'm here. I appreciate it. you want me to accompany you? Of course, always. Understandable.
We're stealing an Emperor's ransom and spice from the Harkon. The Fremen and Atreides are helping.
It sounds like you have a lot to plan. And I'm already having an alliance in the wings.
Uh,
I'll do whatever I can to help, he says.
I know. She'll give him a little
and he-
kiss before they go inside.
Sure. He helps you get up and he walks you over to like the meeting table and everybody starts getting summoned. So everybody's beginning called the Tiberii are to be there. You know, everybody's expected to show up for this big house meeting. Pardo, over the past couple weeks, you've been seeing and hearing things. You're trying not to let on that you've been afflicted in such a manner because that would perhaps cause others above you to question whether or not you're fit for this post. So you continue to down your Sappho juice and you continue your regular duties as the Marshal of House Cheshire. But it has become increasingly clear to you that you're being haunted in the hallways, in your room, outside even. You catch glimpses of this person who just sort of floats by. You hear noises coming from around the corner, and when you arrive, when you investigate, there's nothing there. There are even smells. Smells that stir your memories from when you were a child. There's sounds of carrots being cut on a cutting board, the smell of stew, gentle humming and singing. Your mind is quickly able to put together that you are remembering things that have previously left your memory. The conditioning that you broke on Jabberwock is slowly coming back together. Just the memories. You're not entirely sure. You catch glimpses of her now and then, and you hear her saying your name down the hallway, calling to you. And despite all of training, despite everything that you've trained to do, you find it difficult to concentrate. Especially one thing you've noticed is that originally the mere sight of her was just a grayed out. It was blurry, everything. The voice was distorted. You couldn't make out what they were saying. But as time has continued here on Arrakis, the details are becoming sharper and sounds clearer. And you're almost afraid of when she will fully materialize before you, when the memories begin to return. What do you do? How does Pardo Reed react to
Very first thing Pardo is going to do as a contingency plan, in case all other plans fail, he is at the very least going to write a letter to Mock Turtle. Just saying, like, no matter what they say about me, know that I did everything that I could, not only for my house and for the hope that I would see you again, that sort of like romantic, his best attempt at it after all these years of being a twisted red tat. Fold that, put it in an envelope, give it a seal. With that out of the way.
Who do you give that letter to?
Right.
Mock Turtle was part of the Sisterhood.
Part of the Sisterhood.
And Norma just,
Pardo would put it in his desk, like in a drawer, knowing that if the conditioning does return in full force, Pardo will probably either die or kill everyone. So somebody will be going through this desk if everything goes terribly, horribly wrong. Hopefully that doesn't happen, which is why he's not giving it to one of the Sisterhood members to go.
Very
After
good.
certain events happen, please give this to this one individual.
You give it to Thea. All right, Mr. Reed, I shall do that.
Right. Yeah. Thea, here's a letter. Please make sure it gets to Mock Turtle in the event of my demise. And just leave it there incredibly vague. Okay, there we go.
In other business, there was a lot that happened this past week. The palace came under attack. Alicia had arrived with some assistance, and those hired mercenaries had fired upon the house using some ancient technology that was able to completely, punch through its walls. She managed to almost fatally wound Duchess Daphne. Varys revealed himself, everyone, as the last of the Afkaris house, and that he had pledged himself and his life to his undying love for Daphne. And what else happened? A lot of other things happened that you weren't privy to, but the long and short of it is that you also came upon some news that the monies, the Solara was being used for your house and your soldiers, started to dry up. Like, there's been missives coming from the Guild Bank, and you've come to find out that they've been trying to get in contact with you, like, hey, this is happening, you probably come see doing about it. And it's been happening for several weeks now. So now you've had to spend a good amount of your time trying to keep a very angry mob from overrunning the front of the palace. Like, they're out there pretty regularly, like, demanding their pay, which House Cheshire currently does not seem to be able to access through their accounts. And now, the Duchess is calling for a house meeting. Is there anything that you do before the house meeting commences?
Pardo takes a moment. His eyes roll back into his head, and he starts running through his mind palace, trying to find whatever remains of his memory of how to put together an Ixian probe from way back when he had to dismantle the Ixian probe to smuggle it past the guild.
So fun fact about the Ixian probe. Yes.
About
Alicia,
that Ixian probe.
So Alicia jumped out of an ornithopter, was captured, so she's no longer with us. She did leave behind some things as part of her accoutrement. One was a note that was issued that you weren't terribly privy to because it was taken as soon as Archibald and Conquisen managed to get a hold of her, a jewel and some equipment that she brought with her onto the premises, which you were privy to. And one of those things, along with the Tiberia outfit, was an Ixian probe, the very same one that you imagine she used on Archibald when he was captive in the garden. And it's not disassembled or anything; it is completely intact. Is there something that you want to do with that piece of heretical technology?
It's heretical technology.
This you do remember.
Pardo, imagining very cinematically, he holds the probe in his hands.
Mm.
and he's going through this plan that if he can configure it in just the right way, he could use it to, instead of read memories from his mind, to fry them completely and completely remove his mother and, as such, the conditioning from his mind. And then he realizes, wait, do I really want to do that? I'm being given a second chance to remember my mother.
That's a little crazy.
Perhaps I could take this opportunity if I were to lock myself away before having someone else fry the memory from my mind. Perhaps I could at least see her and remember her face one more time, and then the meeting is called.
Okay.
He's just he like tucks the probe away into a pocket or a pouch.
Keep it to yourself. Okay, excellent, excellent. You can write that into your character sheet if you wish. You have the Extreme Probe. No one else has it. No one has an interest in it, so I don't think it's contested. All right. So you answer the call. You all gather just outside the confines of the main meeting room. Duchess Daphne and assumingly Varys is also in attendance. You're the first ones there. And then you're all called to that meeting. Just as the doors are opening and you're filtering in, we switch over to the sands of Arrakis for a moment. There's a large gathering of Fremen, hundreds of them, and they're all traveling at night on a worm, on many, many worms. Traveling from Saya to Beer, to the northern hemisphere portion, and getting ready to disembark and swarm into the Imperial Basin to make that trek. The Fremen typically travel at night so that they can do their business when no one's looking. Zashir, you and your tribe have arrived on the shores of the Shield Wall, the enormous monument that stands the test of time around the Imperial Basin and shields it from all manner of storms and activity. The rest of your siege follows in your footsteps. You lead the way. You steer the worm. When you arrive, there is already a group of Fremen waiting for you to receive you and to bring you in through some sieges that they have created in the shield wall since the fall of the previous one, to get you to where you need to go. Some of the people that are here, as you are brought into these caves, are familiar faces: Duncan, Idaho, Stilgar, and Chani. They are here to follow your lead and begin the raid on the Observatory Mountain. What do you say? What do you do when you see them? Is there a way that Zashir conducts himself when he's in the presence of hundreds of Fremen who are willing to lay down their lives for him?
He I have a couple options in my head. I think
Sure.
he would act with humility. He wouldn't walk in any grandiose manner, and almost tucked away.
Mm-hmm.
He'd greet the Fremen that he recognizes, kindly and with genuine happiness that they're there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's definitely an excitement in the air. They host you in the siege and they lay out the plans. They lay out the map of the area. What sort of opposition they're expected to encounter out there. They're talking about hundreds of Harkonnens and the different posts and areas in that particular region. Ido has all manner of battle plans and approaches based on everything that he's learned from his own observations, from his own reconnaissance in the past. He specifically wants to present a sort of a distractionary front, and as a distraction, move in a smaller force to take the spice. But there are things that Duncan Idaho doesn't know that you may. Give me a understand difficulty 2 roll. And I'm going to roll for Stilgar as well. That's good. You got 1 success already. So you just need 1 or more successes.
And that was an
So you get this
understand.
one. That was an understand roll, correct.
Let's see which drive. And this is just a generic kind of observation thing.
This is knowledge based. This is like what you know about that region or that geography. Anything that can help you and tactically when it comes with the Harkonnens and planning out this razzia.
Ooh, that sounds like power.
Okay.
For the upper hand.
If you want, you have 1 momentum, which you can spend to get an additional die, which means you roll 3 dice instead of 2. You already have 1 success from Stilgar. And the more successes you get, the more little tricks and things you can apply onto the situation with the Harkonnens.
It's okay with everyone. I'd like to use that momentum because the appropriate drive is only a 4.
All right, so you got 3 dice to roll. Let me know how many successes you get.
Two successes.
2. All right, so you got in total that's 3. So you get 1 momentum back, and if you spend that momentum, you not only come up with a strategy, but you also can use that momentum to ask me a question that I have to answer truthfully, or you can get an insight into the terrain of that area that gives you and your Fremen an advantage when it comes to planning out this raid against the Harkonnens. Your choice.
I would like to poll the group because I'm not quite sure which one's the better option there.
Oh, go for the
No worries.
geographical insight, because that's going to define how you move your forces and where.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that makes sense for my focus too, because my focus and understand is desert navigation.
Yeah. Okay. All
So,
right.
yeah.
So you're gonna get some good detailed information about the area.
If you have a focus, then I think you got an extra success,
Oh shit.
because you rolled a
Oh
4
yeah.
on
Well.
1.
Oh. Yeah. That's a good observation. So you got 2 there. And I think so you got 2, 3, 4 successes actually, which means you get 2 momentum. So you can actually have it any which way you want. You can ask me a question, or you can get some geographical insight into the battle, or 2 of one or 2 of the other, whichever you like.
Uno de los dos.
Why not? Okay. Cool. So go ahead and ask me your question.
Sorry, I just got distracted. I had to use the band hammer.
No worries.
Um,
No worries.
What would the Harkonnens least expect?
The the least thing that they would expect is a frontal assault, because as you probably may recall, this observation mountain is like 8,000 meters in the air. So it's like no one's gonna come up here to attack us, and if they do, they have to fly in to do it, and they have like advanced radar, communication rays, and ornithopters themselves, and, anti-air weapons. Like they're secure where they're at. So they wouldn't it's the least thing that they would expect is like a brutish frontal assault, you know. Um, Now, as for the other momentum spend, you do know, and Guard backs you up on this. He's like, yes, this is correct. There are in that mountain, that is a botanical research station that was first founded by Pardo Kynes, Chani's, Wei Chi Kynes' father, and the Imperial planetologist, the original. And so it's really out of the way, but also because Pardo Kynes and later Wei Chi Kynes was so is so important to the Fremen, they actually converted areas within the structure, the geographical structure, into little secret passages, little alcoves and secret seaches, as it were, that not even Duncan Idaho was aware of when he performed Herculean task to scale the fucking thing with him and his allies. So, or it was his Atreides allies. So you have a back way into that botanical testing station. There is, in fact, a secret door that opens up into a small area that contains a very humble-looking ornithopter, and it has like an aerial open way, an aperture that can open under with the controls in that room that will allow the ornithopter to fly in or out of the station. So if you have a small group, you may be able to gain control of that chamber and allow greater forces to come in. Or it can prove to be a suitable escape if you need to get out quickly and you're enmeshed with the fighting the Harkonnens.
Fantastic. I like this. What does the room or cave look like right now? Like, are people around a strategic map or in like some sort of auditorium? How is this set up?
Mm-hmm. It does resemble like like an auditorium in the sense that it's like circular, and it has levels of height. At the bottom of which is the ornithopter itself, and it is connected with the rest of the botanical testing station. But Kinds had this put in very specifically as a secret like access way, and assuming the Harkonnens have not discovered it yet, you could utilize it to your advantage. The secret passageways and switches that exist in the structure itself exist outside of the botanical testing station. You can use it to get to this place. It still takes you a tremendous amount of time to scale this huge monument, but if you wanted to go that way instead of flying in or something like that, and bringing a direct assault like Idaho wants, you can do that and sort of surreptitiously gain access to that room and to the rest of the botanical testing station where the spice is being kept. Idaho actually shows you a map of the station that he gained when he was scouted it out. He just drew it on a piece of spice parchment, but the majority of them are rooms that are used for the workers that tend the garden there. The garden is one entire area of the botanical testing station, very large, round chamber. And adjoining it is a vault, a very large vault that presumably the Harkonnen have been using to stockpile spice for decades. Idaho is not a mentat, so he has no idea what kind of the amount of spice that could be in there, but it has to be in the tens of millions at least, if not more so. He himself has never laid eyes on the size of the room, but judging by what he was able to discover, yeah, there's definitely some activity going on over there. The Fremen had a notion about it, and he just sort of confirmed it with his mission. So there's a lot to gain there, as far as like the Fremen are concerned. They want their cut as part of this. Stilgar sits you down after you discuss Streatham, and he's like, "These Outframe with House Cheshire. Have you spoken? Have you spoken with them? Did they agree on a cut for the spice?"
Uh, not a numerical, especially since we don't know quite how much is there. So that remains to be discussed.
You're bringing us
I
new ornithopters, I understand. Combat
y-
ready.
yes, it is apparently a House Cheshire specialty.
You see, Idaho seems pleased by this. Like, my specialty to fly one. It's like House Atreides is known for a lot of things, but they're especially known for their for our pilots. And it's like, so if you plan on doing an aerial assault of any kind, I want in.
There's a plan I had thought of previously that was multiple fronts of attack, but it's looking as if I'd like to walk that back. One full frontal assault will throw the Harkonnens off. They expect us Fremen to be secretive. I will, however, maintain that there should be one very small group, the most stealthy, that takes this secret entrance here. And Zoshir will point to the location that you were talking about, having to do with Pardokines.
Uh-huh. Okay. You see, Idaho is like, if you want to bring a small group in, I can lead it. Unless you want me to bring up the distraction, that's fine with me. I kill Harkonnens either way.
Depends on where your skills lie.
They're all over the place. He says.
Out of character.
Out of character, he's a sword master, so he's unmatched in hand-to-hand combat. So he can just slice his way through if you take him with you as part, and he's good at infiltrating. Obviously, he reconnaissance the entire place almost by himself. So he has a tremendous amount of stamina. I mean, like, the man scaled this thing for days before he was able to recon it. So he knows what he's doing, and apparently
Shit.
he's a very good pilot. Yeah.
Yeah, in that case, I find that since you've already been in and infiltrated and surveyed, you lead the stealth group.
What about you?
I am going to go for the frontal attack.
You
I have
see,
to be there with
Stilgar.
my people.
You see, Stilgar pulls you aside. He kind of like in front of the other Fremen. He's like, "Oh, okay, yes, of course, my D." And then he pulls you aside and he's like, "Are you sure you want to do this? A frontal assault on the Harkonnens, we will lose men when we do this. I don't want to risk you to the Harkonnens."
That will be up to Shai Hulud. I have faith. But also, there's an aspect I haven't quite spoken with you about yet.
Speak.
The Forsaken Ones.
The Dwali?
Yes. I had a vision at the Tau. My parents, they bade me make an alliance. They said we could not take down the Harkonnen without all Fremen.
The Dwali.
I know.
Uniting the tribes is one thing. You're talking about the cast out. They exist only to destroy us.
I understand that, but there has to be some sort of explanation for that. There has to be some sort of underlying need for them. And if I can get to the root of that, I think that we can be united once more.
If you think you can, if you think it can be done, Mahdi, then it will be done. You want to, but this is not the time for such an alliance, is it? Are you proposing that we speak to them now? We are on the cusp of an assault.
If we don't have all bodies, I don't know if we can win this.
We have hundreds at your command, Mahdi.
Indeed, but
The Harkonnens.
the Harkonnens fight with no honor. But
I
then
see the
again,
wisdom in it now.
I also had that epiphany just now.
Use the honorless to fight the honorless, yes. If Shai-Hulud wills it, then it shall be so. And he called, Korba, come here. And he brings over Corbin's like, we need the Dwali. Did you kill them all? We killed many of them, Naib, but we still got, but we haven't, well, we still have some of them in our captivity. Bring them to us now. And his eyes go wide. What? They start like dragging the prisoners back out and they put them in front of you. And Korba looks up to you and he's like, shall we kill them now, Mahdi?
Wait, one moment.
Bound.
And whose siege are we in?
This is a makeshift siege that they created because remember the previous one got blown up, so they kind of like repopulated. Now that the Harkonnens are gone, they're using it as a staging ground before they move to the location of the Razia.
Is there a water store here?
Yeah, there's a cistern, an old one. Mm-hmm.
Who's in charge of it?
No one, because the siege has been abandoned for a couple weeks now.
Does it still have water?
Yeah.
Okay. So Zoshir will go get a bit of this water.
Okay.
And he'll go before the Idwali in front of whomever is there.
Okay.
And he'll look them in the eyes, holding this water, just kind of getting them in for a little mind game.
Okay.
But
they
then
look at you.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Tell me their reaction. That'd be great.
They're kind of freaking out. They're like, what the hell's going on here? What's he doing?
At that point, Zoshir will get down on one knee in front of them. Assuming that they're probably on their knees in front of him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hands bound. Mm-hmm.
So the cup or bowl or whatnot will be raised to the first, whichever direction is the first for the Fremen, like either the left or the right.
Mm-hmm.
Raise the cup to the Idwali person's lips.
They don't know how to react. They're just like, he's letting us. They hear a couple of them whisper, he's sharing water with the cast out. You have them drink.
Only if they want.
They figure it's like their last, sort of like, here's your last rites or whatever, your last meal, your last sip of water. So they take it, they gulp it down, and then the next one, like, they haven't had water for days probably, so yeah. And they're just like, and the guys who are holding them captive are just looking at each other, and they're looking at you like, why is he doing this? Is he going to kill them now? Is that what he's doing?
After they've all had a sip or gulp or chug or whatnot, Zoshir will really study them, look at what, and this is probably feels to everybody like the span of 30 minutes, but it's really only like about 5 seconds surveying them.
Mm-hmm.
Wondering what makes them different when they look just like all the other Fremen.
Mm-hmm. You observe them, and you come to the realization it's just history. It's just people killing each other, and the perpetuation of that that has brought them to this moment, that has instilled them with this rejection of the other tribes, this long-standing feud. And then you come to that realization, like, there actually isn't a lot of difference between the Idwali and the other tribes, and then these Outframe who fight each other in the Imperium. They're always at each other's throat, and they're always pointing to the bloody history of their forefathers, or of their ancestors, and how they continue to perpetuate that violence throughout multiple generations, and it never ends. How does Ashir respond when that sort of pops into his mind?
Their features will soften, and if they can tell, eyes fill with compassion and just this realization of, holy shit, we're just fighting senselessly. And Zoshir will just gently say, this is an offering. This is not your last water. We have been fighting senselessly. In the words of someone very dear to me, when does the cycle end? And he'll just wait to see how they react to that.
They're just kind of bewildered. But one of them has, one of them seems kind of like skeptical of any sort of like leniency. The other one like picks up the bowl and holds it back up, like, may I have more, please?
Zoshir will oblige.
The guards are just looking at each other incredulously, like, is this really happening? Sire, Zoshir, shall we, this water belonged to a different tribe. They would have stolen this water. Let us take them to the death stills. Or let us take them to the sands and spill their blood on them.
Why? So that they can feel that pain?
One of the guards challenges you. He's like, it's our way. It's the way. It's the only way.
Why? Why is that our way?
He's becoming more and more exasperated until finally one of the cast out stands up. He shared water with us, he says. We are allies, are we not? Will you release us from our bonds? You see, yes. The one guard is looking, he's like, don't do it, don't do it. and grabs a hold of his the hilt of his crisp knife.
Zoshir will remove their Chris knife and cut the bonds himself.
They spared us, he said. The one Idwali says to the others. They gave us mercy when they would not. Who are you?
I am Zoshir Tamer.
You see the one guard is just like exasperated. He's like, I can't believe I'm seeing this. And he walks off, and the other guard sees what's happening. He's like, that is the Mahdi that stands before you. And you will pay him homage, and you will follow in his footsteps.
No, there's no need. I would not want them to agree to that unless they truly wanted it.
You see, they look at each other and they look back to you, and it's like, we cannot go back after having failed. They will spill our blood. But if you grant us mercy, then we will pledge our blades to your cause.
What if I went back with you?
They will
With a
kill
gift
you.
of water?
They don't know the answer to that question because no one's ever done that before. This is like some high heresy shit here, but yeah, first time for everything. But you let them go, and they seem like besides themselves, with like, wow, this is incredible. Like we're getting a second chance now. You know, we can actually live and be part of a community, and we don't have to go back and get killed if we failed and shit. So they're.
I love doing a heresy.
I love doing a heresy, right? Real quick before we go on break, as everyone is getting ready and going down to the meeting room to begin the house meeting, Ellis, you're with Amira and she's getting her things ready and getting prepared. And as you're going down the stairway, she stumbles. How do you react? She seems
immediately
like she's stunned.
I grab to catch her.
She looks up at you with like these confused eyes, and then she straightens back out. I'm fine. She says. She's like, and she holds your hand. She continues to lead again. You get into the. She takes a sip of water on the way in, and then she stands at attention. And just before the house meeting officially begins, she collapses, and that's where we're gonna go on break. The time is now 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We shall return in 10 minutes, everyone. And we have returned from our break. We last left off, tensions were running high in the house before the house meeting, and Amira collapsed. And Zoshia was gathering the troops and freed, gave mercy to the captured Idwali, or cast out Fremen captives, and they in turn joined his crusade against the Harkonnens. Now we return back to the Arakeen Palace as the house meeting was just about to begin when this dramatic moment happened as the mirrors suddenly collapsed to the floor. How did everybody react? Beginning with Elois, of course.
Of course. She immediately drops and grabs her like, no, not you two, not you two.
Mm-hmm. You turn her over and she's conscious, but like her heart rate is going through the roof. Like you have your hand around her neck, like to prop her up, and like you can feel her pulse racing, like her heart is beating like ridiculous, and it's like her body's trying to fight something, and you see like sweat develop on her forehead and stuff. Like she's just like, ugh, she's grunting in pain. What does everybody else do?
Not Norma's going to get in close. Offhand, does this look like what I think it was earlier? What I said?
You wanted to grab the water?
I'm gonna really quickly test the water and see if it's the water.
It's not the water.
Stop standing there and help her now.
I look at Amira. Is this residual?
She's an assassin, so she might know, actually. Go ahead and roll for Amira, Aaron. Go ahead. This probably be a understand roll. You'd probably need focus and assassination. Although poisons is a separate thing. Give me an understand roll, but you can use the focus in battle for assassination. So if you roll a 5 or below, it's actually counts as 2 successes.
I'm trying to think of a good drive here. I guess just based on the statement power, because death determines who rules. Okay.
Sure.
By the way, we have 2 benevolences to use.
Oh, excellent. That's very good. Because
Oh.
we have no momentum.
No, we've got
Nice.
2.
Good call.
We do have 2? Oh, I don't see it.
Thanks to me.
Oh, you spent them. Never mind.
No, I said thanks to me.
Oh,
All right. If it's okay with everyone, I will spend my momentum as well.
Sure.
And yes, focus. So
Ooh.
3.
3.
And a complication.
Damn.
Ooh.
So
Yes.
I want to clarify with benevolence. Benevolence is re-roll the whole shebang-a-bang, not just the bad die.
No, you can do either. You can re-roll the 20,
Okay.
or you can re-roll the whole thing.
I will re-roll just the 20 then.
Sure.
And
have-
it's still bad, but not a 20.
There's a 3rd benevolence now.
Thank
From
you,
Drea.
Drea. Thank you, my
Oh,
beloved.
very good. Because of the level of lethality involved, the complications run from 18 to 20, so it is still a complication. You can re-roll it at the expenditure of another benevolence, or you can pay me 2 threat and make it go away.
I don't want to waste another benevolence. Oh, thank you,
Fine.
Patty. Thank you for that benevolence.
Malevolent.
Wonderful. I will pay the 2 threat.
Okay, fair enough.
no, not before Arazia.
I'm sorry.
Use the benevolence. Use the benevolence. They vanish at the end of the night.
Now, she can do what she wants. I'm gonna get that 2 threat and use it on you later. Okay, no complications. This is undoubtedly residual poison. And she's like, that's what she says. She just kind of nods when Conqui brings it up. Yes, I know what it feels like. I've seen other people go through it as well.
Okay.
Eloise will stare daggers at Conqui. Conqui, is this your doing? Do you know what I'll do to you?
No. She's an assassin. This is the guild. She hasn't gotten her dose? How long?
Amira is just as surprised as everyone here. She didn't realize she was poisoned until just now. I don't know, she says. What does everybody else in the room do?
Daphne is standing at attention, just watching, like, huh, that sucks.
Wow. So I have a question on this part. Is it portrayed that this poison was preemptively put in, so it happened weeks ago when she got it, or did this happen today?
I'm for the sake of everybody involved, the residual poison, depending on the type, can take weeks or like a month to kick in. So presumably, if this was introduced into her system, it happened like a week or two ago. What happened a week or two ago, I wonder?
We were at Jabberwock.
No, that was the
Aldrich.
attack. It's a week away from the attack.
Mm-hmm.
This is Alicia.
Was it?
No, I
Aldrich.
don't think so.
It's the meeting with Aldrich. It's the meeting with Aldrich.
That's what I was thinking too when you went to space. So yeah,
Eloise will say out loud the meeting with Aldrich, of course.
Amir, comes to that realization as well when you say it's like, oh, it's gotta be them. Yeah.
Well, I look at Eloise and it makes our mission even more important. Damn it. All right. And I look over to Kanki and I say, what do we got to do to save her?
There are two
Amira like
options.
stands up, like she grits her teeth, and she's like, yeah, she's listening to what you're saying.
There are two options. I'm not sure if this will work, but we could try our own and see if it will assist her. Or, and I looked at Lady Daphne, we could go back to your birthright and see if that can fix it.
Try the first option first.
You see Amira.
Yeah,
Amira stares daggers across the room to all of you, but she's like, "I'll handle this myself," she says, and she starts like moving her way begrudgingly past everybody out of the meeting room. Like she's gonna go deal with the guild now. How do you respond, Elois?
I'm going to stop her, of course. I will physically block her. Like, have you lost all sense? What are you going to do when you're dying? You're going to murder your way through the starport? Murder your way to a third stage navigator? Is that your plan?
I'm going to have a conversation with the guild.
No,
They're going to give me whatever it is that I need.
For what cost, huh?
Our lives?
Or, yes, correct. They'll probably ask you to kill me to live.
Never happen.
So you'll die and I'll live. Wonderful.
Or they'll kill her when they learn she was in a room full of Cheshires and didn't draw one blade. Alright, I'll do it.
But I'm not gonna like it.
Daphne will use her other memory.
You're going to try to discover what the antidote is? Is that the idea here?
Yes.
Okay. Give me an understand roll. Difficulty 5. So you need you can get the 3 successes automatically from other memory,
Okay.
but you need at least 2 successes when you make your understand roll, and you don't have a focus for this. Devin, I get threat for this, right? Oh no, that's voice.
No, yeah,
I always get those two mixed up. Sorry.
You just like getting threat for everything.
Alright, I'm going to try using truth because power derives from knowing the truth.
I think momentum can be used right now.
I'm not spending momentum on her.
Wow.
Would rather spend a threat?
Oh, she hates this bitch. She killed Kyra.
Exactly.
Oh, nice.
Exactly, 2 successes. So you get all 5 successes. You recall, not just through other memory, but when you were back on Ikaz, you remember that there was an extensive library that House Iyasi had on poisons and antidotes that predate the Belerian Jihad. And when you go through with your other memory, you recall what those antidotes were. And some of them were for these ancient, time tested residual poisons that were developed that have been around for millennia. So, yeah, you can write the formula down on a napkin and slide it to them. Be like, here, you figure it out. Or you can give them a first class ticket to Ikaz. Your purview, of course.
Yeah, no, she'll scribble down what she remembers of the recipe, and it's like almost like automatic writing.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll then slide it over. That's how you create the antidote. Anything we don't have here, you can find on Ikaz.
A note to Pardo Reed. You're not sure what just happened. Daphne just sort of like closed her eyes and started writing. You think maybe she was possessed by a ghost or something. You've never seen anything like that before. Not even other mentats have been able to do what she's purportedly able to do. And it seems that some of the people here know what she's capable of, but you currently do not. How do you respond? You heard the words residual poison, which is not the first time you've heard that word.
I think Pardo's just gonna file that away somewhere in the Mind Palace. That okay, that was weird. I'm gonna have to ask Kanki about that. I guess, just out of curiosity. Later on,
You've been to Ikaz, so you know that that exists. That is part of Daphne's ancestral heritage, House Yasi, and their medical legacy, pharmaceutical legacy. So yeah, you have you already know about that, but you didn't know about this. What do you do with that information now, Conqui and or Elois?
Well, Kanki wants to take a quick look and actually jot that down in her mind, the formula to remember that for all time. I did give Parto the cat, but I mean, if this does it for that too, then that's a little more effective for him. He's like a son to me.
Eloise will grab the note once it makes its way to her, I assume. Whatever is available. I have spice. Whatever we need, we can get. Hey, go to our med bay. I know we don't have a proper doctor anymore, but at least we can stabilize her, maybe.
I still need to talk to the guild, she says. If I don't seek them out, they're going to get suspicious.
Unbelievable.
I promise not to kill too many of them. I'll be back shortly.
Fine, go.
She leaves. She makes her way to the starport. It'll take her some time to get there. What do you all do in the meantime as the house meeting has started off with a bang?
But we still have the house meeting?
Well,
It's up to you.
there's still business to resolve.
Shall we?
Eloise closes the doors.
Yes, I think we shall, and we'll be as quick as possible about it. Alright.
Some of us have time, I suppose.
So, I have believe most of you know of what I've gone through, what I've experienced.
Side note, if we don't have it up already, dampener.
Ah, the dampener, sure. Makes sense. Okay. Go ahead.
All right.
Proceed, Daphne.
Gregos of Cardis is dead. He died on Arrakis. We won. There is no more Canley, there is no more rivalry. House Cheshire has won a definitive victory. She says, looking at Varys.
Nods.
Eloise is going to raise her hand.
Yes.
I disagree with that statement.
Anyone. Well, if you would like to claim your heritage, I will not stop you.
I have two heritage to claim. My uncle has given me House Liberius.
That's true. I wish you good health and good fortune.
I'm dissolving that house.
All right.
In lieu of that house, House of Cardis will be the vassal house to House Cheshire.
Now I really want to see Varys' expression.
Wow.
Ooh, I like that.
Varys is just
That
kind
was
of
a
like,
fuck you to Varys.
what?
Yes.
What is the reasoning for this? Why are you doing this?
I was denied my birthright. I've lived an entire lie of a life. Whether or not my sister knew when she sent me on my mission to infiltrate the guild 12 years ago, it doesn't matter. I spent 12 years hating my own family, apparently. I'm claiming my birthright. And in the same tradition as House Cheshire, I am the sole surviving female heir to the house. House of Cardis is mine. We will be a vassal house to House Cheshire.
If you do this, you will be reviled. You know that, right?
I don't care.
The truth already came out. House of Card, the truth behind our house's treachery against everyone in this room has already been clear through the Vlansrad and the local Sisterrad. If you go back and recreate the house from scratch, it's an uphill battle, and frankly, it's a terrible legacy to try to revive.
I don't care, brother.
What?
It's mine to reclaim.
What if
Fine.
What if there's a third way? You could unite your two heritages, Eloise. Come up with a new name.
Very well. Perhaps I'm being unreasonable. I'll consider this.
Varys seems visibly at least more relieved.
Alright, Alicia is also dead. She denied Jabberwock the pleasure of justice, the closure of justice, but that too is over. Also, Marshall Reed. When last we spoke, I'm afraid that I let grief run away with my tongue. You have never given me any cause to doubt your loyalty. Your methods are unorthodox, but always in service to the house. I spoke to you harshly and I apologize. You deserved better from me and you will have it going forward.
Thank you. Thank you, Duchess.
As I understand it, house accounts are drying up.
Frozen.
Frozen. Our list of enemies is long. It could be the Bene Gesserit, although I doubt it. It could be the Guild, that's far more likely. It could be the Emperor Shaddam Carino himself. Although I don't know if we've done anything to piss him off this week.
So, question for you, Eric. I've met Shaddam back in the day. I used to work with him. Would I know some of his tactics when it comes to this stuff? When it like basically to see if this has got the Emperor's fingerprint on it.
Shaddam's tactics are questionable because they've never really had anything on him. There are rumors in the Imperium, and you would know this from your focus in imperial politics, that as far as the rumor mill goes, he poisoned his own father so he can get the throne. No one's been able to pin that on him because, you see, he has friends in very low places. And a lot of the time, he never dirties his hands. That's what they're for.
Well, yeah, I guess what I'm trying to ask is, would I know some of the like, for example, some people do offshore accounts. Would I know if he did that or not? Because I feel like I have worked with him before.
As far as like financial stuff is concerned, or are you talking about like military strategy stuff?
I guess both.
The military side, he's not really that much of it. He's not a military guy, although he does command the strongest army in the Imperium, which is the Sardaukar, of course. That you're a little bit more familiar with, Sardaukar tactics and stuff like that, sure. Any one of you who have like strategy or tactics as part of your battle focuses, you probably know some Sardaukar history, tactics and stuff like that. So you're familiar with that. As far as like the financial side, that's a little bit outside of your scope. Okay. But if your real question is Shaddam behind like financial shenanigans on Arrakis, who knows? He could have easily picked up the Communinet and told the guild, "Hey, freeze their accounts. I don't like them today," and they would have had no choice but to comply, right?
That's why I said I don't think we pissed him off this week.
Well, I'm just
the real question is, did you do anything to elicit that kind of response?
There is some happy news. Varys has proposed. I have accepted. I have another suitor among the Fremen. And the house will have an heir soon.
Excuse me if I don't fall over myself with joy.
I'm happy enough for both of us. I think you will enjoy meeting Federico and Adelaide when they arrive. I should rethink that name.
Varys looks over. Which one?
Federico.
I agree.
Don't you just ask them when they arrive?
I've got 30 weeks to decide. But, Tharazia, I intend to travel to the siege. I imagine some of you will be coming with me.
I have a plan, if you'd be willing to hear me out.
I am, but I do not think I will be directing any of the military wing of this operation. You'll have to speak to Zoshir and Duncan, Idaho.
Okay. Do we know how much spice is in this secret holding of the Harkonnens? Varys asks.
We don't. For all we know, this could be an elaborate trap. Murder every enemy of House Harkonnen in one swoop.
What do we know about their stockpiling operations? And he looks over to Pardo Reed. Mentat, compute. How much spice could the Harkonnens have gathered over the course of 10 years? Let's start there. I need you to make a roll, Pardo. Understand. I won't tell you the difficulty. The level of success depends on how many successes you get. So let's start there. You want a accurate number. You want to have as many successes as possible. You currently have 1 momentum, which if you spend, it will give you an extra die. And you can purchase more with thread if you wish. Or if you roll with a statement tied to your drive, you can spend a determination point and be like, ha, automatic 2 successes right off the bat.
I would like to spend 1 momentum for a bonus die.
Very good, very good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
And would deductive reasoning count as a focus for this roll?
Absolutely, I'll allow it.
Oh, nice.
God damn.
That's awesome. 5
Okay,
successes,
hold on.
1 roll.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second here.
Jesus. You're like, I
All right.
competed 10 years plus the 20.
We're going
I
all
have
the
to
way
type this
back.
out because, yeah.
Oh man, is this a number with exponents?
Jesus Christ.
One. Okay. Stand by. You seeing these numbers?
Yes. Pardo gets the order of do the calculation, and he takes a sip of the sappho juice. Forces a little shrug, like, okay. His eyes roll back into his head. Oh my god.
You calculate how much it would have been for about 10 years worth of stockpiling. Depending, you figure if they skim the average off the top of the regular yield from the harvesters and so on. This is the number you get. Has a lot of zeros, excuse me.
A lot of 0. Jesus.
It is an exponent. Oh my god.
Holy fuckaroo.
525,600 pounds every
How
day.
do you measure some spice?
This is a number.
In grams and kilos, in truckloads and lots of.
In visions
So-
and nexus. Sorry.
Oh my
And backstabbings. And everything else in between.
And naughty and nice.
Mm. Ardo does all the calculations, starts muttering about. Unit conversions. His eyes roll back down. It was the amount of Solaris worth of spice, or was it the amount of spice stockpiled? I forgot.
You figured like the Harkonnens pull like 8 billion out of Arrakis in 1
Billions.
year.
Oh my gosh. The final number is 22,176,000,000. Approximately.
That much Solari? See, Varys is just kind of like, his mind is boggled. That's incredible.
2% variance.
You also have to that's how much they could have
Rough variance.
accumulated in 10 years' time, but that is not a fixed number because the Harkonnens have been actively moving it out off the planet.
So
Daphne
I'm gonna
is going to
ask.
point that out. Two things about that number. We don't know how much they've managed to repatriate to Kieri Prime. Also, I know the effect that these many zeros can have on the hearts of humans. And I would like to reiterate, this is more than enough. A fraction of it is more than enough. And we are not going to cheat the Atreides, and we are not going to cheat the Fremen.
As long as it's fair.
It will be fair and equal shares to every participant. Or
Indeed.
participating faction.
Speaking of, I've hacked their satellites. I can provide us a moment of invisibility once it starts.
That will be helpful, thank you.
So everybody's kind of stunned by the numbers and stuff, and it's like, at the very least, you estimate, like, House Cheshire could walk away tens of millions of Solaris if they move swiftly to recoup that. And then, but then, of course, you have to factor in how many different sides to this razzia there are, and how many people are needing to cut a piece of that pie for their own purposes. And that is a variable you can't calculate and you need more information for, as a mentat, of course.
Is there any other business? If there is not, I suggest we start making our way to the siege.
Indeed.
I get
Uncle,
up.
you and I will speak privately after this.
Who was that to?
Uncle.
By all means.
This will be good. I imagine it's that low shot scene where everybody gets up out of the meeting and it's just them sitting in their seats, and after everyone has trickled out and the doors have shuttered, you have your private meeting.
You start.
I'll tell you what I told Daphne. I'll tell you the truth.
I don't care about Alicia. Save it.
Okay?
You
What
know
do
what
I-
I want to hear about. Tell me that what Daphne saw and what Varys told me is true. That's what I want to hear about.
Okay. And I do agree you deserve to know. Just let Jared find the message real quick. All right. Okay. So, one day, Federico, your dad asked me for a big favor. He wanted me to infiltrate House of Cardis and steal an infant, aka you. He said, Lady Yesena, the Bene Gesserit concubine, wanted a political marriage. Basically, they wanted to unite House of Cardis and House Cheshire. Well, she used her Bene Gesserit ways to potentially force him into this. Basically, forced him to have a baby with her, so that way they can consummate the union. The whole purpose was to. So, I went in, infiltrated, and I got you back. The whole purpose of this was to basically use the baby as leverage and force Federico to marry her politically. And Federico, and this was after Yesena put political marriage on the table and Federico refused. Yesena was trying to strong-arm Federico into this. That's basically what happened. So, like I said, he told me to get you back. And that's what I did.
I see. All right. Here's what's going to happen. Everything you sent in your letter, I agree to. We'll work together for this army. I'll get my brother to put us in contact with the renegade navigator. I'll get you to Two-Pile.
Thank you.
And then we're burning everything to the ground.
Believe me, I have plans. We will.
Good.
Including the Bene Gesserit witches as well.
Oh, yes, they're part of this. They're working with the guild. They're the reason my beloved is dying right now, too, for sure.
I think the guild's more responsible for that, though, in my opinion.
I don't care anymore.
Neither do I.
I know who escorted us up to meet Aldrich, and it was Guild and Bene Gesserit. That's all that matters to me.
If you do want to help me, though, if you want to make this go smoothly and quicker, we do need to get in contact with some of the houses that want to rebel against Shadow. We need to start thinking about the future, especially toward Two-Pile. Yes, there's a lot of people there, but if all of us teamed up, I guarantee you, things will be really different.
My whole life's been lies. I've mastered in lies. I can lie and get us any allies we need.
Oh. And I'm actually gonna do a roll, and I'm gonna tell her like some houses that I would recommend because I have Imperial politics. If I could do that.
Okay.
So what was that? Was it?
Let's call it difficulty 3 for Imperial politics, which you focus on. If
Yep.
you get 3 successes or more, then people on a first name basis that would be that you know for sure they're way behind this grand revolution that you're proposing of taking up from Kyle. Anything less than that, you may be mistaken, and especially if you roll any complications, that can come back to bite you in your keister.
Well, I hope this doesn't bite me in the ass again this week, but I'm going to use my determination point just to make sure I have a. So
what's the statement that you're going with? The drive.
The drive. You will know me by my deeds. Get to look at that. Go truth. 2 dice, correct?
2 dice. Unless you want to pay me threat and roll 3.
I'm good. Oh, 3 successes. Hell yeah.
3 successes. Well done.
Plus
right
my
on the money.
determination
So
point.
yeah.
So
You
actually,
know,
can I-
wow. So that's yeah. Well, you don't have to spend it if you don't want to. But you rolled the 3 successes. So sorry.
I'm not
the
gonna
3 successes, so.
spend it if I don't have to. So
That's fine. You know a handful of houses that would be able to support you in this endeavor. 1 second.
get in contact. I'm gonna tell her get in contact with these houses. Ally with them, and when crunch time comes, we'll get this take. We'll have your vengeance.
Good.
But we need spice now, so let's go.
Indeed.
One second. Secret. Okay. Concrete, is there something you want to do after the meeting?
Yes. Hold on, I got one more thing to tell you.
Okay.
So after the meeting, Conky is going to go into her quarters for a little while, and using some Bene voodoo, she's going to produce a concoction and then go to Mr. Pardo Reed.
Knock, knock, Pardo. Somebody's at your door again. It's that creepy Bene Gesserit again.
The sound of rummaging as Pardo puts the Ixian probe into his desk very quickly. Just, clears his throat and then opens the door. Ah, hello.
How much of that would have been noticeable through the door?
I would imagine for someone as private as Pardo Reed, not much.
Okay, just had to double check. And since I'm still in kind of public, I guess I'll do it as, howdy there, Mr. Reed? Mind if I come in for a second?
You would be so kind, please make it quick. And Pardo takes one step back and lets Conky in.
Let the door shut. Go back to Norma. Pardo, I do regret what we did so long ago. Last month?
It's felt like several months, yes.
It seems like it's almost been at least a year.
Hmm.
But due to what Daphne said in a meeting, I made you something. I produced the vial of the anti-concoction of residual poison. And say, this should remove requirements for you to have Schrodinger around. I do
Schrodinger just kind of looks up, hearing his name. Like,
I pet the cat as Schrodinger looks up. Granted, I presume you're still attached to the cat as a whole, but you are no longer going to need him for your life. I place it in your palm.
Schrodinger looks to you like this, Pardo.
I am sorry about having done that to you.
What must be done, must be done.
Indeed.
Consider it sand under the bridge.
Wow, House Cheshire is coming together. What could possibly go wrong?
Excuse me, I have much work to do. We'll discuss more later, yes?
Of course. Perhaps dinner.
Certainly. Pardo opens
Good night,
the
Pardo.
door. Good night, Concrete.
Have a wonderful evening!
God.
Once Conqui leaves, Pardo just stands there with the knowledge that the Ixian probe is in his desk. His conditioning is coming back, and now he holds in his hand a substance that would remove the requirement of having Schrodinger around. Schrodinger, the embodiment of I need to take care of another living creature to survive. And he just stands here with all of this. He just puts the vial of the anti-poison in the desk drawer takes a seat, and for the first time in a very long time, he cries into the palms of his hands. Just everything is in a
Oh.
swirl for him. He doesn't necessarily know what to do for the first time since he was a wee boy.
Wow.
Does
Pardo
he-
as Pardo weeps. Well done. I'm gonna switch gears here for a minute, and Lois, I need you to portray a mirror for a moment.
Did you say me?
Oh no, I said Aaron to
Oh,
portray
okay,
a
okay.
mirror for
Yep.
this particular scene.
I was like, I don't know.
So you make your way to the starport. All the Cheshires are having their meeting. You demand to speak to Edric. Edric's no longer in orbit any longer. Did you want to speak to a second stage guild there? Someone below Edric, perhaps? A representative of the guild.
She I can read people. So is this truth, or is I'm being stonewalled?
Okay. Roll discipline observation.
Okay. She does not have observation. I think it's probably truth for the drive.
Okay.
One success.
Really hard to tell, with those guild navigators, those guild representatives are just, like zombies half the time. But you know the kind of person that they're referring you to. They're the type of person that has a bubble over their head and spikes cast in from the sides. You never see their face.
Yeah.
They're wearing all white. They look like a priest or something like that, and they often walk around with like a cudgel, probably fight on one or both ends. Very dangerous to people to cross. But there's currently one in orbit. Take a shuttle up there and speak with them. You can show them your credentials, the little symbol on the knife they gave you.
She'll do that, yeah.
Right this way. They board you up aboard this lighter. It takes you up to this big hayliner in the sky. And bring you into this large chamber. And this representative of the guild is sort of hanging out there. He's in this chamber, vast guards and people nearby, functionaries. And he just missed all with a wave of his hand. Amira, he says through this concoction around his face. You never see him. You were supposed to destroy Daphne Cheshire. Instead, her sister is the one who lies dead.
Isn't one Cheshire as good as another?
Despite the fact that Alicia Cheshire was to be targeted later, the quarry we assigned you yet lives. You were warned that if you failed or delayed in your mission, that consequences would befall you. The symptoms that you've been experiencing since our last meeting is evidence of the subtle poison that was absorbed through your skin when you used the blade we provided. An old Bene Gesserit trick, I'm told. Daphne Cheshire dies before the Harkonnens leave Arrakis, or you will both live out the rest of your lives inside of a pain amplifier. With one hand, they hold a vial that they hold out to you. Your stipend for this week.
She takes it.
We'll see you next week.
Yes, you will.
You just get up and leave. Okay. They see you off. What does she do with this information? Like, how does she react once she leaves the chamber and she's ushered to the shuttle to go back down to the planet?
I mean, I think, given everything that's happened, she goes immediately to Eloise to tell her.
Okay. How does she break it to Elois? What does she say?
I think she phrased it exactly as the guild did.
Okay. Yeah, so she goes back down. By the time she gets back to the planet, it's later in the day. It's getting dark. She goes back to your chambers. She knocks on the door, and she looks like she's kind of resigned to her fate. She walks in. She just drops the dial on the table, and she sits down near the table. Her blade on the table next to it. How does Elois respond?
We have a different cure. We don't need to rely on them anymore.
How can you be so sure?
I can't be sure of anything anymore. I found out Varys wasn't lying to me.
She doesn't have much of a response. She just looks at the floor. She's like, she looks defeated, like she's, resigned to her fate now.
I won't let you die.
You're gonna have to. Because they want to kill the Duchess. And if they don't get what they want, then we both die.
Then we kill them.
All of them? How?
We do the thing that we're never supposed to do. My uncle has access to nukes. Let's nuke them.
I don't have access to nukes no more.
Shh. Not entirely true. Don't fib. You see her eyes open up. It's like, he has that kind of power? Of course he does. Why am I even asking why? But you don't have access to that. No one does. No one but him.
Not anymore. He's given me House Librius. It's mine now.
And you accepted?
I did. And dissolved it in the same moment to make my own house.
You know that if we do this, the entire Imperium will turn against us.
We're already plotting against the entire Imperium. I don't care anymore.
This attitude, especially this idea of like, fuck it, let's stop playing defense and let's take the offense to them, sparks something inside of Amira, and she steps out and she tears off her veils and she attacks you. Like, this idea of bringing violence to the guild is like, yes, let's kill them all. Fuck it. And yeah, that like she's 100% down with this idea. Like, if you're both consigned to this fate or what have you, as some would call it, then to hell with it. Go scorched earth against your enemies. So as soon as it's possible, she wants to help you in acquiring atomics and then going through the process of destroying the guild. I think that's where we're going to stop for this evening.
Hmm.
Oh Lord.
Indeed.
By the way, okay, so here's another thing. Does Eloise? I've never told Eloise that I had atomics though.
So, she like so.
Oh, they know.
Yeah, I was just say like she's not. She's like spent 12 years undercover, not uninformed.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
clarification. When you say you're willing to use the atomics, are you gonna nuke the Cheshires or are you gonna nuke the guild?
It's the guild. No, that's the that was fully against the guild for clarification.
Okay, because I'm like, so he's gonna try.
She's
Is
not,
this Aaron's
but
villain retirement?
she's
Jeez.
like all right. So she still spent most of her life with Cheshire, so she's angry. But you can't just throw away family.
Okay, just the
Yeah.
way you phrased it was a little ambiguous, and I'm like,
Sorry.
Oh shit.
Allow me to clarify. We're going to nuke the guild.
oh,
So-
it's still bad. Less directly
Still bad, yes.
so.
Still bad.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna
that's
get that paperwork in like tomorrow, so that way my name is not on that at all.
Yeah.
100%. Oh, not mine. Not anymore.
Not mine. I didn't do it. That's all the time we have for this session. I hope everyone here and those watching enjoyed the show. We'll continue our adventures into the Imperium next Friday at 11 Eastern Time. Let's go around the virtual tabletop one time to introduce everyone from our wonderful cast, beginning with Aaron.
Hello, everyone. I am Aaron. You can find me pretty much everywhere as Greg Tulu. Tonight I was portraying Eloise Cheshire, who had a night, a real interesting night. Lot of wild shit. You can next find me. I think maybe this weekend. I did stream this past Sunday. Maybe I'll do it again. But beyond that, usually on Thursdays, you can find me over at my beloved partner's channel, Dre LaFay, for some cozy date night Stardew Valley.
Excellent. Devin.
Hello and goodbye, everyone. I'm Devin. You can find me online at Sort of Sullied, and tonight I was Conky, or Pardo's friend. And next time you'll be able to find me is on Monday for Dragon Age.
Ambrose.
Hey everybody, you can find me all over the internet as Am Changeling and on Etsy at Thornkind. And playing again Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Dragon Age. Be there or don't, because then you won't catch the blight and you'll be fine.
Excellent. Key.
Hello. Yes, I am Kisa. Yeah. You can find me on Twitter at TrueKisan. And I've been Pardo Reed this evening. Yes.
Excellent. Leo.
Hello, my name is Leo. You can find me at Leo of the Black here on Twitch, and the next time you're gonna find me is next Friday playing this game. I've gotten myself out of a hole. I've lost a lot, but things are looking up right now.
Nice. I see. Told you.
Well,
And last but not least, of course,
Played it
Rachel.
well.
it all comes down to the Razia.
It does.
True.
Yes, hello. My name is Rachel. I have a very playful cat who is insisting that I lap him around the apartment with a laser pointer right now.
Right, meow?
Right
Right, meow.
meow. Right meow, Nom. It's playtime. Yes, I am Rachel. I am Stolen Fires pretty much everywhere on the internet. You can find me mostly here on Twitch, where yes, I do run Dragon Age on Monday, and then after that we've got Curse of Strahd. She is the Ancient. I stream the Dragon Age video game on Wednesdays, and on we're about to start a new show. It's gonna be exciting. It is called Solid Metal. It is a BattleTech game using the Fate system. It is a homebrew. If you follow the Curse of Strahd game, the fellow who plays Grizzly Batams, one Ben Ravensdale, he will be running it. So it should be exciting. I'm really happy to have new faces and new players added to the channel. So that will be Thursday at 9:30 Eastern.
I just have to point out that you said his last name very elegantly, but I thought it was like Badams, like Adams, like the Adams family, Grizzly, Badams, Gomez, Adams. That's
Nice. Excellent. And I've been Eric at Baron Recluse Online. You can find me back here for tonight for this. Big thanks as always to our viewers and fans for tuning in. And as always, never sit with your back to the door. Always remember your shield emitter and be careful with whom you trust. For in the game of houses, nothing is truly as it seems. Good night, everyone.